this conference. Distinguished participants, it goes without saying that innovation is the engine of competitiveness. In the 21st century, innovation is no longer optional, but is the lifeblood of competitiveness. NDS1 recognized this by prioritizing the creation of a knowledge-driven economy, wherein investing in science and technology and digitalization take center stage. The government of Zimbabwe therefore celebrates its heritage-based education 5.0 policy that has birthed the technology innovation hubs at our tertiary education centers. There is also need to support startups with venture capital and mentorship. Similarly, it is also very critical to enhance intellectual property rights protection to reward creativity and invention. Ladies and gentlemen, the current wave of counterfeiting and smuggling has posed a huge challenge for the government of Zimbabwe, as this threatens industrial viability as well as public health. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce hereby assures you that it will not leave any stone unturned in its endeavors to have this brought under control. The ministry recently organized a national seminar. It was actually last week, Thursday and Friday. Organized a national seminar on enforcement capacitation for the country's law enforcement officers, with technical assistance from the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, the World Customs Organization, and the European Union Intellectual Property Office. This is a huge and historic step in the right direction, poised to enhance stakeholders' appreciation of the need to uphold intellectual property rights as the fundamental first line of defense in the country's fight against counterfeiting and smuggling. Failure to strengthen our intellectual property legal framework and the respective enforcement ecosystem will negatively impact on the rate at which you attract investment and its quality thereof. Government, through NDS 1 and 2, recognized that the private sector is not just a stakeholder, but in actual fact, an engine of national development. In this regard, the private sector has been thrust with the responsibility to deliver private sector-led economic growth for Zimbabwe. NDS 1 and NDS 2 emphasize the centrality of the private sector in driving job creation, innovation, and investment. On the other hand, government commits to creating a conducive environment where business can thrive. Thus, government and the private sector should remain in partnership. It is only through such collaboration that government can develop and promote the growth of globally competitive and sustainable industrial and commercial enterprises in the economy. A competitive Zimbabwe must be industrially and structurally transformed. In this regard, NDS 1 places value addition and beneficiation at the core of industrial policy, which seeks to do more to modernize industries, improve production and productivity, and grow manufactured exports. The focus under NDS 2 will be deepening beneficiation in the mining, agriculture, and forestry sectors. We will also focus on supporting cluster-based industrial development for such value chains as leather, targeting Bulawayo, steel, targeting the Midlands province, agro-processing, targeting Manicaland and Mashonaland provinces, to name but just a few of the priority value chains. Distinguished participants, it is therefore critical that we prioritize investment in reliable, renewable energy, transport and logistical infrastructure to reduce the cost of doing business through reducing the cost of production. Promoting green industrialization will allow Zimbabwe to shift from being a producer and exporter of raw materials to a producer and exporter of quality, high value-added goods. As we move into NDS 2, the goal is to create a dynamic private sector that is globally competitive, export-oriented, and technologically driven. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to emphasize that enhancing Zimbabwe's competitiveness is not the responsibility of the government alone. It requires all the collective efforts of every stakeholder and every sector player, public and private, rural and urban, academic and industrial. As the old saying goes, we need all hands on deck. Vision 2030 challenges all of us to think differently, work collaboratively, and act boldly. The Transitional Stabilization Program, the TSP that I alluded to earlier on, the Zimbabwe Industrial Reconstruction and Growth Plan, ZIRGIP, the Zimbabwe National Industrial Development Policy, ZNIDP 1, we are now going into ZNIDP 2, and NDS 1 have laid the foundation. NDS 2 and ZNIDP 2 must now accelerate implementation, innovation, and integration. If we commit ourselves to innovation, industrial transformation, regional trade, and private sector empowerment, Zimbabwe will not just be competitive, it will excel and lead. Let us therefore move forward with a unity of purpose to build a Zimbabwe that is globally competitive, prosperous, and delivers on the promise of Vision 2030. It is only through such collaboration that government can develop and promote the growth of globally competitive and sustainable industrial and commercial enterprises in the economy. Let us always be guided by His Excellency the President's wise counsel. Nyika inobakwa nevene vayo, ilizwe lakiwa nabanikazi bayo. I thank you, Tatenda Siyabonga.